Hi, my name is Josie Patrick, and this is my reflective presentation on late adulthood. My subject is a 60-year-old Hispanic male who has been married for 33 years, has 5 children and 2 grandchildren who he currently has legal custody of and is raising. He is a 1982 college graduate, first one in his family to complete post-secondary education. His older brother followed soon after. He has had a successful 37-year career in software development and retired earlier this year. He is in relatively good health, mobile and self-sufficient, but he does suffer from diabetes. History. What makes him tick? He was born into poverty in a low-income city that depended on potash mines to bring money to the town. He is the second youngest of 7 children. He and his siblings all resided with their mother in a small 2-bedroom house. He was raised in the Catholic Church, but only on special occasions: Christmas, Easter, funerals, and weddings. He was the first sibling to leave their small town, followed soon by an older sister, but they were the only 2 that ever took residence elsewhere. Life-shaping events. From my interview, I gathered that the most impactful was his desire to conquer poverty. He stated that having only the bare minimum of what we needed, not necessarily wanted, taught me that I had to work hard to have my wants met. At a young age, I understood I was entitled to nothing unless I worked for it. Education naturally is how to escape poverty, and his plan required a good college education. He worked through it and paid for it himself. He seemed a bit surprised that his grades in high school were below average, and he was doubted by many. In a study done on males in late adulthood, published in 2019, it was discovered that education is associated with less cognitive decline in men with low average intelligence, showing that education compensates for low average intelligence by increasing the cognitive reserve in late adulthood. The last life-shaping event that he emphasized was becoming a father. No matter how hard life seemed, there was a whole new reality when he and his wife were now responsible to raise children of their own. He said, "You do not realize how selfish you are until you have children," or at least I didn't. Integrity or despair. Erik Erikson talked of the struggle in late adulthood, and Kalen Kavanaugh described this theory as the struggle of integrity or despair, requiring people to engage in a life review, the process by which people reflect on the events and experiences of their lifetime. My subject portrays a comfort with his life mistakes, and all that integrity is driven, saying, seeing the pain of and loss and happiness within my own mistakes and others led me to well-deserved life lessons. This reflects integrity, as he has accepted himself and his past decisions at this stage in his life. Understanding why my subject has integrity over despair can be seen on how he has dealt with losses in his life. He lost his mother to heart disease when he was 26. Between the ages of 17 and 56, he lost 3 sisters and 1 brother, among many other cousins and friends, so he is no stranger to coping with loss. I asked how he coped with so much loss, and he explained, "I never asked God why. I always wondered if they died having done everything they wanted to do, and if they went to heaven. I cried in private many times, not to hide my weakness, but to ensure the focus was not on me." Mendez Becerra et al. Explain in their 2018 study that in the face of numerous conflicts that illness and death proximity bring, there is a strong tendency to use prayers related or not to certain religions to alleviate the anguish that arises in these moments. It seems that my subject did not question the death, but sought comfort from his spirituality in times of loss in his life. Spirituality. Kalen Kavanaugh writes there is considerable evidence linking spirituality, religious-based coping, and health. Bernard Seif also wrote in 2019 that spirituality profoundly shapes our choices, attitude, and evolution individually as well as collectively. I believe this rings true, as my subject notes he was saved at 18 but wasn't sure what it meant to start a relationship with Jesus. As he aged, he relied more and more on his identity in Christ rather than his identity in his own eyes. He notes that birthing decisions and prayer through his life turned out significantly better than those birthed in the flesh. This interview has changed my thinking in regards to late adulthood. I now see how it is something to be cherished more than I thought before. I see that spirituality makes for a healthier life, even into where you're accepting there is more life behind you than in front of you. And finally, I see that God desires growth from us in all stages of life. In fact, it seems like it becomes a more natural thing by late adulthood. Thank you. Here are my references.